Freeholder meeting. The time is 6:33 p.m. Freeholder Fantasia here. Freeholder Graham will be absent. Freeholder Hertzberg.
Here.
Freeholder Patilla will be absent. Freeholder Director Yardley.
Here. Okay. Let's have stand. Please stand. We'll have a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Okay. Public statement.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, adequate notice as defined by Section 3D of Chapter 231, Public Law 1975 has been made by regular mail, such notice being submitted on October 17, 2019, from the Administrative Center of the County of Sussex, located at 1 Spring Street, Newton, New Jersey, to the following: New Jersey Herald, New Jersey Sunday Herald, Star Ledger, WSUS Radio, and WNNJ Radio, and is also posted on the bulletin board maintaining the Administrative Center for public announcements, and has been submitted to the Sussex County Clerk in compliance with said act.
Okay. Approval of the agenda.
You wanted to...
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion that we move items, appointments, and resignations to the next meeting, first meeting in November. Can I get a motion on that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Voice vote or do we need
A voice vote. Now you should just do the vote for the approval of the agenda.
Okay,
You
so
just
now,
amended.
I need a vote to approve the agenda as noted. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are good. Executive session.
Whereas the subject matter is about to be discussed may be excluded from the public portion of the meeting by resolution, the Board of Chosen Freeholders, as an exception to the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12B, and whereas it appears necessary for the Board of Chosen Freeholders to discuss such matters in executive session, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex, in accordance with provisions of NJSA 10:4-12B and NJSA 10:4-13, that the Board at this time enter into an executive session from which the public shall be excluded, and be it further resolved that the general nature of the subjects to be discussed relates to the following items authorized by NJSA 10:4-12B as designated. Number 7, matters relating to litigation, negotiations, and the attorney-client privilege, adult protective services, and CWA 1032 contract negotiations. Be it further resolved that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, or provided law that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. And be it further resolved that upon completion of the business for which the Board has entered into executive session, the Board shall resume its meeting to the public. Be it further resolved that the Board expects to take formal action after returning from executive session.
Okay, motion to adopt executive session resolution.
Motion.
Okay, and enter into executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn to executive session. A motion to adjourn from executive session and return to regular business.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're out. Okay, we're going to have proclamations and presentations. Eagle Scout Honor, Patrick Ryan. No,
Patrick is not able to join us tonight, nor a representative.
okay. Recognized branch for businessman, 75 years. Do you have that?
It is the citation here.
Okay, we'll send that to Clinton Campbell.
Okay.
Branchville Businessman Association is 75 years old. Started here in the county and continues to operate. The next presentation, salute to military veterans.
Yes, Lorraine is here. Seth.
Seth.
This is the proclamation. If you wish to read this, I just need this back.
And that one is also.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lorraine, where you go?
I don't know, where do you want me to go?
Read the proclamation.
Direct you, direct.
You have to direct.
Direct.
I'm just used to going here.
I'm not. You can see this is the first night Margarita.
You want the official one or?
There we go, official proclamation. That's nice. There we go. Whereas Sussex County is home to thousands of veterans who have stepped forward to defend our country and preserve our way of life. And whereas we salute the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen who have rendered the highest service any American can offer. And we rededicate ourselves to fulfilling our commitment to all of those who have served. And whereas America's veterans are now leaders of our communities whose character reflects our enduring American spirit, setting examples of inspiration and strength. And whereas American veterans, the people of Sussex County greatly appreciate the selflessness, and personal sacrifices of our past veterans and those who are currently serving our country, both on home and foreign soils. And whereas honoring our veterans encourages all of us to be more appreciative of many freedoms we possess as Americans and the price that is being paid each day, which allows us to enjoy these freedoms now and for generations to come. Now therefore be resolved that the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders does hereby proclaim Sunday, November 3rd, 2019 as the 19th annual Salute to Military Veterans, and pay to salute every veterans of this county, paying special tribute to the veterans, their families, neighbors, friends, celebrating together today, enjoying the glorious freedom of these United States of America, and remembering in a special way those who are risking their lives abroad to make a better America for all. By the order of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, Herb Yardley, Freeholder Director, Sylvia Patillo, Deputy Director, Dawn Fantasia, Freeholder, Josh Hertzberg, Freeholder, and George Graham, Freeholder. So thank everybody and our veterans. So thank you for coming out.
It's legit.
There we go.
There it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
And we have Gladys Clark.
Counselor to the stars.
Thank you, Peter.
Let you hang on to that prematurely for just
Okay.
a sec, please. My hands are full. So this year, Laddie Clark and Ryan celebrates 30 years. And they were founded in 1989. They brought together capable attorneys with diverse legal background and skill sets in order to provide the highest quality legal services to us here in northern New Jersey. Coming from Franklin, I have experience with some of either your past attorneys or present attorneys, Angela Boccato, Tom Kroll, Ursula Leo, and they were a pleasure to work with. So this year, in honor of Laddie Clark celebrating the 30 years, they commemorated their anniversary with highlighting in a social media campaign, and it was called 30 Acts of Kindness.
Nice.
So I stalked a bit to see exactly what those 30 acts of kindness were. And we don't have all night, so I won't tell you all 30, but I pulled some highlights that I just think are important to share. A few of the things that they have done. First, in August, 2 of the attorneys participated in the Salt Shaker Golf Outing at Lake Lackawanna, and it benefits Friend to Friend free digital mammography program of the Sussex County Women's Forum. So basically, they are a nonprofit organization that assists women and their families who have been impacted by a cancer diagnosis. In July, one of the paralegals participated in a Pass It Along triathlon. So they assembled goodie bags for participants, including race day packets for each person. Also, Mr. Ryan, you are a member of the Board of Trustees of the 200 Club of Sussex County, which presented 11 scholarships to 11 high school and college students in the county who are the children of emergency responders. Volunteer as emergency responders themselves are pursuing a college degree in law enforcement or public safety. So there was one $10,000 scholarship, $5,000 for $1,500, and 5 $1,000 scholarships. And the 200 Club of Sussex County, they're a nonprofit organization, and they provide immediate financial assistance to the families of first responders who lose their lives in the line of duty. Also, on a smaller scale, the staff of Laddie, Clark, and Ryan gathered together to get cookies together and send different homemade baked treats to a military unit that's stationed over in Jordan. And then also the weekend bag program that was created by one of the Newton High School students, Isabel Costello, in partnership with Soji Huggles Children Foundation. And this program fills bags with donations of different food and hygiene products. And the bags are delivered to the school where they're distributed to students who may need those items during the week or weekends or over extended breaks. So that's just a little snapshot, moving away from the stuffy, perhaps legal end of it into really being partners in our community for the past 30 years, and we thank you for everything you do. So I'll read the proclamation now. Whereas the law firm of Laddie, Clark, and Ryan, LLP, was founded in 1989 and established itself as a firm to offer skilled attorneys with diverse legal backgrounds and skill sets to provide the highest quality legal services to businesses and individuals throughout New Jersey. And whereas the firm's goal is to know its clients and understand their needs and wishes so that it can provide the services they need. Whereas Laddie, Clark, and Ryan, LLP retains 16 attorneys under the leadership of partners Thomas Ryan and Andrew Frazier, and takes great pride in the leadership role the firm and its people play in civic and charitable organization in the local communities. And whereas Laddie, Clark, and Ryan, LLP also educates its clients with seminars tailored to their needs, along with hosting social networking events and doing 30 awesome deeds for the community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders is pleased to honor and congratulate Laddie, Clark, and Ryan, LLP in recognition of their 30th anniversary in business, and extends our best wishes to them for their continued success for many years to come. By order of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, Herb Yardley, Freeholder Director, Sylvia Patillo, Deputy Freeholder Director, Don Fantasia, Joshua Hertzberg, and George Graham, Freeholders.
Wow, that's wonderful. Okay.
I don't know if we can, you want to open this up?
Okay.
Like that.
There we go.
It's very nice.
Thank you.
All right.
Very nice.
Thank you.
A lawyer can't pass up an opportunity to say a few words,
No.
so I just want to say a few words of sincere appreciation. It's rather humbling to come after an award given to veterans and all they do compared to what we do. Rather, our tasks are much more humble. And even to hear about the Branchville Businessmen's Club, they've been around for 75 years. We've only been hanging on for 30 years. But it does not diminish for us the great honor it is to get this recognition, which is certainly does not have to do for the work that we do, because we're very fortunate to be able to work with the legal community here in Sussex County, as well as the business community, the governments, and the nonprofit community. We're really fortunate to work with great attorneys, great local leaders, and dedicated volunteers and individuals. So thanks so much for this honor. It's really appreciated.
Thank you, and thank you to your whole team.
I appreciate that. And I'll pass that on.
Please do.
I will get I'll get the Branchville Businessmen's, I can get that to them. And we have a presentation, no one is here, but it's for a certificate of recognition to Mildred Logier Percival, celebrating her 105th birthday. I will, do we know where she in
Barnhill
Barnhill,
Hospice,
okay.
yes, no one could attend this evening.
Okay, so she's in hospice there?
Yes.
I will if appropriate, find that, I'll stop by and get back
Okay.
to deliver that, okay?
That's great.
So if you could just make sure I can, if you wouldn't mind calling and make sure that it's not a problem. if there's
No
nothing wrong,
problem.
I will do that.
We'll do that.
And so we now have a presentation from Dr. David Bullard, Premier Health Associates, inspired me to Dr. Bullard.
Okay.
Please come up.
Hello. So, I'm known mostly as Dave Bullard. I'm a family doctor, 30 years.
I apologize, I've been calling you Bullard for.
It's okay. I was laughing because when you were reading your proclamation, it reminded me of third grade when the teacher would go around the room and try to figure out what I was going to say. And you should have done that, but that's another story. So I have two things really quick. I don't want to hold you up, and I asked if I could just let you know what we're doing. Because Premier Health is 35 doctors, 60,000 patients, 130,000 visits a year. So we actually do a lot. We try to do it under the radar, but most of us do know us. And there's two projects that I'm really taking handle on now, and I wanted you to be aware because someday we may need you. I don't know. Or you may need us. You will need us because you'll get sick someday. So there you go. First one is it's very difficult to recruit physicians to Sussex County. You may not know that, but as recruiting physicians for the past 20 years, very difficult. Most physicians don't want to practice in New Jersey, and if they do, it's New York City, the Shore, Philadelphia. It's not Sussex County. So working with the local medical schools, we've started bringing students up to Sussex County. And we have an affiliation now with Rowan Medical School. It's Atlantic Health, Premier Health, and Rowan. They're osteopathic medical school, and they actually put third-year students into Sussex County. Now that's very important because once they're up here and they get to see how we live and how we work and that people are kind of nice up here, they kind of like it. And what's been happening is, so far we had 6 students this year. They've all reached out to me and said, when I get ready, do you think there'd be a job for me here? And that's exactly why we're doing that. We're educating the next generation, and we're getting them introduced to Sussex County, so when they do look for jobs, hopefully we'll have some positions. And that's a good project. Someday we may ask you to help us advertise about that. And we do have a scholarship that we're setting up for that as well, and I just want you to be aware.
I think that's great.
Yeah, it's a nice project, so I appreciate any support in the future on that one. Second thing we're doing has to do with opioids. Now, everybody's into opioids, and we are not without, some serious thought about this. And what we've been seeing over the past couple of years, and I just want to make sure that we all understand what we're doing. The opioid is transforming from what we used to think it as a character defect to a medical illness. And people at first are very reluctant to say, oh, this is an illness because you started it. Well, I ate a lot of Twinkies when I was younger. If I get heart disease, I kind of started that process myself. And opioid addiction is the same way. They may start it, but it becomes a real illness and it needs to be treated that way as a disease, and it's a chronic disease. So Premier Health understands that, and we want to make sure the community understands that it's actually a disease and not a character deficit. And what we are doing is we're going out now and we're walking the walk and talking the talk. We've sent 6 physicians now to get certified in Suboxone. And Suboxone is the current way that we put people chronically onto an opioid agonist, so that they are now able to function in society without going out looking for heroin, which is really fentanyl, which kills people. So we're making people that at one point were at risk for death and robbery and all the bad things associated fairly functional. Right now there are 6 doctors in our group of 35 who are certified. We have approximately 200 patients who are on Suboxone in your community now. These are people who will not overdose if they stick with the program. They will not rob you if they stick with the program, and they'll be functional family members. And we think that's a good thing, and we want you to be aware of that, because you will be hearing about that in the county. It's more than that, though, for what we're doing. Everything with drug abuse is after the fact. So you don't see them in the emergency room until they overdose. You don't see them in the courtroom until they are stealing. What we want to do is identify people who are at risk for those things and what you would call predictive analytics. We want to kind of predict who's going to be people at risk to become opioid addicts, and what can we do to prevent that moving forward. And there's a lot of data that we've been collecting, which I think is fairly unique, and this is what I really want you guys to know, that there are some things that are very unique to Sussex County that we're doing. By having a database of 60,000 people that we've been collecting for 10 years now, we have a lot of information on everybody, and there are 1,400 opioid addicted patients in our group, and there are 60,000 patients. And what we're starting to do is teasing out data from them and saying, what are the things that these people are doing or were doing that put them at risk in the future to become opioid addicts? And there are trends we're starting to see. So what do you do with those trends? What we'll do with those trends are, we're going to start putting people into risk factors. You're going to be low risk, medium risk, high risk. If you're high risk, we're going to get you in right away before you start using opioids. If you're medium risk, we're going to get you into some kind of counseling program, and we have a transitional care program where you'll have a transitional care nurse who will call you and see how you're doing, how your life is, etc. And what will happen with this is when it gets to its fulfillment, every Monday, I'll get a sheet of paper, and there'll be 3 or 4 names on there. And these are people that I need to see this week because they're at risk of becoming opioid patients, but they're not yet. So if you can think about what I'm saying, the power of this, everything has been after the fact. But by looking at the data and picking up the patterns, we're going to start picking people up before the fact. Now, there's a program you may be aware of, it's called PMP Aware. PMP Aware actually is where a patient comes to me on a Saturday and they say their knee is killing them and they need some, what are those pills, the Codone, something, they really work well. So you go in the back room, you type up their name, and the state sends you a thing and says, you've been getting opioids from this doctor, you were at your dentist last week, he gave you some, and this other guy, now it'll be a Saturday, you want some pills. That's great information to have, but wouldn't it be better to have that before they show up? In other words, that data is there, we just need to tap it. The data has risk factors. Okay, this person all of a sudden, why are they all of a sudden needing to go to the dentist and other person? Because they're becoming tolerant, they're starting to become addicted. I wouldn't know that till they come into the room, but that data is out there. So if we can get people like you to help me with the state to share that data preemptively, I will be able to help people before they become addicted. So these are the things we're doing, things that we may need your help in the future. And I just wanted to tell you that it may be Sussex County, but we're on our game up here with this stuff. Okay?
Let us know how we can help.
Yeah, well, I think when the time is right and we have to sit down with the state and get into the PMP Aware for a practice run, we could probably use you guys' help to get us to meet the right people to do that.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's a worthwhile project. I see it all the time. I'll type in this thing, I'll say, damn, if I had this 3 months ago when the person did their second doctor, it would have been really good to have. Now they're on their 4th doctor and they're kind of addicted.
Right.
It's after the fact. So if you understand what I'm saying, then you understand what we're trying to do. And I think that's a great project. So between the students and our opioid projects, we're out there doing stuff for you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Good night.
Okay, public hearings, none. Public session from the floor.
Comments are limited to 3 minutes or less and must only address issues regarding agenda items. Please state your name and write your name and municipality on the sign-in sheet.
Okay, a motion to open the floor for public comment.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone wish to address the freeholder board? I don't see anybody out there.
Yeah,
I still don't see anybody out there.
I know.
That's-
You don't want to see me. I didn't feel like I wanted to say something. No, I actually, I walked in, I didn't see, collective community here with the torches and pitchforks, as the last couple of meetings had. And I figured maybe I could just sit down and listen, or just listen to this doctor say something that is really, to me, frightening. the idea that I can predict future behavior based upon certain paradigms is a pretty scary situation. You know, I know that Mr. Kelly, because his name is Kelly, he probably comes from the Irish, most likely will be a drunk, and I think he may commit murder, so maybe I should incarcerate him now. That's a gross exaggeration. I understand what they're talking about. I think it's great that if they have the registry, like when I come shopping, they go, you don't need more pills, I get that. But it's kind of scary to me that they want to predict a certain behavior. There was a movie about this, about people being arrested for crimes that they might commit. The last couple of meetings, as we sat here, and Ms. Portillo was told that she passed for white by somebody who was a geneticist or whatever, I have no clue. It's kind of scary because I find that the culling of this information and certain things, it's really that New World Order. It's really that 1984 scenario. And I think it's very frightening. As you know, or you may not know, I've been having a debate with Mr. Orr about people who suffer from post-traumatic stress and having a weapon. Mr. Bozo, who went online, he took something out of line, and then he used an SAT word because he didn't think I knew what exasperation wasn't as exasperating was. You know, it's like I speak fairly well, I know all 4 other words, but I just think that when the doctor, and I'm not attacking the man, I don't think, I understand what he's trying to do. I understand the scourge of narcotics and what goes on. But it is a very slippery slope, as is, you know, the push for the red flag laws, because increasingly we're seeing the First Amendment go. I just heard one on the radio today, which I thought was funny. So if I'm talking to Diane over there, and I say that, you know, Miss Lyons was a witch, but I didn't use the W, I used the B, and she got wind of that, and he heard that, they're gonna put me in jail for 6 months. That's what they're pushing. This is what's going on in this country. So it is scary times, and quite often, I know from people legal, worst case makes bad law. You know, you got this really bad case, you make a law, and all of a sudden, people who were never intended, the unintended consequences are there. So while I applaud the effort of what they're doing, I would like people to be aware that it's a very, very slippery slope. That's enough for me. I didn't go over 3 here.
Now you do.
I'm done. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board?
Sit.
Melanie Sanderson. I just want to thank the board for recognizing the need for more security for the Board of Elections office and for what I assume will be the approval of Resolution C. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board?
I'm Diane Costa from Whitney, and Neil is absolutely right. It's a slippery slope, and there's no way of predicting future behavior, and I think it's a dangerous thing to do, but I also want to address this Suboxone program. I'm a retired addictions nurse, and Suboxone is a combination of Subutex and naloxone. Subutex is used to detox from heroin for opiates. It takes like 5 days, and then you no longer need the medication. And I don't really think that keeping someone on Suboxone, unless it's just for a very short period of time, it's not a good idea. The person is still not clean and sober, and so they're not changing their whole behavior. They're not living a 12-step program. They're not going to stay clean. It's just, it's the only program that really works is a 12-step program. And well, I understand, you know, what Dr. Ballard is talking about. I don't, to be on it for a long period of time, or like maintenance, is not good. Almost as bad as methadone, which I've heard they want to open methadone clinic. And Sussex County, and that also was a bad idea. You're substituting one narcotic for another, and the person will never be clean and sober if they stay on the drug, no matter what that drug is. Thank you.
Okay. When she's done, is there anyone else that wish to address the freeholder? Going once. Come on.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Ochoa.
Where are you from, Jessica?
Huh?
Which municipality are you from?
I live in Hardison, Scotland. So I want to touch base a little bit on what Dr. Bowler was talking about. I am a recovering heroin addict. I have 5.5 years sober. I buried my husband when I was 23. He overdosed on 2 oxycodone 30-milligram pills in my bedroom. I gave him CPR until the frost from the lungs was in my mouth. He was on life support for 3 days until I had to make the decision to take him off because he was brain dead. I went from a pain pill addiction to a heroin addiction after I buried him. I struggled with that for 3 years. I did a 6-month program and I did methadone maintenance for 2 years following. Well, approximately 1.5 years, and then I slowly reduced my dose until I was better. I believe in Suboxone. I believe in methadone. I believe that it changes the brain back, the receptors. You destroy your brain from heroin and from opiates, and we need the treatment. If it wasn't for methadone, I would be dead. My 3 children would have no mother. I would not be in kindergarten. I would not be in preschool. I would not be helping my son's speech. I am an advocate for these things because people need them. If you don't see that the heroin addiction is not something that you just wake up and you stop, and it's not a character defect, it's not a moral deficiency, it becomes something that you can't control, something that I can't explain to you. All I can tell you is that there's people in our county, I'm burying people I went to school with more than I'm going to their weddings. I grew up in Wayne. I was not born to be a heroin addict. I did not, it's just the way that it ended up. So the people that we're burying, the people that we're watching struggle, they're the same way, and they deserve treatment, they deserve help. So I would like for you to consider putting a methadone maintenance. The closest one to our area is in Dover. And as you know, a lot of people lose their license, they lose their ability to get around, they lose family, they lose friends, they lose that. Having something in Sussex County would be such a big help. It really would.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board? Okay, I'm going to close it to the public. Motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Freeholder comments? Let's see, Sylvia's not here. Dawn?
Yes. Okay. Not too many long-winded ones tonight. For finance, we did receive the county's financial reports this month, for the month ending September 30th, including the solar receipts and disbursements. We are on target budget to actual with both revenues and expenses. We also completed our operating budget hearings with the departments, and again, Elka thanked us, but I want to thank Elka and Mary and Greg and every other person who put together that concise, beautiful presentation. I can't talk enough about the organization that went into that. Just absolutely outstanding, and made it easy for us to really navigate and locate what we needed. All of the heads of the departments came and were very professional, explained clearly what they wanted for their programs. It was just a very professional, well put together experience, and we really appreciate it. I mean, we were talking about that, just how great that was. So thank you again. Update from the Arts and Heritage Council. They have a couple pretty interesting events going on. They host a social evening on the first Monday of each month, And it's just a fun night of socialization. You could bring knitting, crochet, needlework. If you like to draw, just bring a pad and pencil. If they have adult coloring pages, so it's pretty much a no-stress creative outlet that you can just swing by the Arts and Heritage Council. There's no registration required, and it's free. Also, they have something really cool. This is the first time I've seen this. If you're a music writer or a music lover, they're having instrumentalist, singer, songwriter Jess Novak talking about what goes into writing a song, what goes into where does your ideas come from, how do you bring your ideas to life. So if anybody is a budding songwriter, I think that that's really, really cool. So you know Novak brings originals and choice covers to stage with violin, voice, percussion, piano, guitar. She was named the 2018 Best Female Vocalist by the Syracuse New Times. So if you would like to work with a professional, learn how to write a song, it's $25 per person, but the best part is it's free for children 16 and under. So if you have a teenager who's gifted, you can come with your teenager and do a nice song session. For the library, there's a couple pretty interesting events. Certified professional organizer Deborah Gussoff is providing tips on organizing your home office, or even your finances. So for all you hoarders, there are two instances: the Dorothy Henry branch, October 26th at 10 a.m., and at the Louise Childs branch at 2 p.m. They're both on October 26th, and it'll only take an hour of your time to get yourself organized. Also, they're having a Harry Potter escape room in Franklin, October 24th, which is tomorrow, from 3 to 7 p.m. And I think they're saying for grades 4 and up, I believe. And you don't have to read the books to understand. They're just setting up little mini escape rooms, and the kids can go. It's a 4-hour event, and I think that that sounds great. And then on a little bit more of a serious note, Ogdensburg, which is one of the towns that I'm the municipal liaison to, put out a plea. They're desperately seeking first aid squad members, which does not necessarily make them unique in the county. We all know the challenges that we face to find volunteers. I know in Franklin we have passed LOSAP to try to attract some more, God bless you, to try to attract some more emergency volunteers, but they're saying membership is at a critical level. They're in dire need of EMTs, first responders, in order to be able to provide free emergency care and support. No experience is necessary. It's 100% volunteer. You must be 18 years or up. They offer a flexible schedule, so you won't get pigeonholed into what doesn't work within your schedule. Free training, uniforms are covered, and they do different community events as well. I know they do the Chili motorcycle run, they have an Easter egg hunt, 5K run, Ogdensburg Day, everything that's going on at the Sterling Hill Mining Museum, which is really active now. So if you've always wanted to be involved in EMT first response, and you live in Ogdensburg, please, you can call them. You can see them on Facebook. You can call the town hall, and just please give your information. And that's all I have.
Josh?
Sure. I want to talk a little bit about, I saw you there at the ribbon cutting today, the new Winneco Shopping Center.
Some building.
Shop, right? It's,
some facility.
I'd always heard them talk about that they wanted this, to be a flagship, but you don't realize how grand it is until you're in there. And I think they did a really fantastic job. And if they run their store the way, with the same attention to detail that they ran their grand opening, I think it's going to be a pretty amazing store. So that was nice. I want to also thank the staff, the budget hearings that me and Dawn, kind of split them up because they were pretty intensive, but you guys made it easy. Just to reiterate what Dawn said, the professionalism and the work that you guys put into that book was about, what, 25 pounds?
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
That's an understatement.
But it was a great way to present it, and I think the staff did a great job. Each department did a great job presenting theirs, and I look forward to working through that process with you guys. Thank you for all the hard work. I'm going to be short, but I want to also thank Jessica, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to get up and speak in front of people for a living, but when you're campaigning or you're doing things like this, you only talk about the great things about you and all the great things you've done, and you try and sell yourself. To get up and have to talk about your failures and the most horrible parts of what you've gone through in life, in the hopes that it helps people, is very admirable. So I want to thank you for getting up and doing that. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you. So Sylvia's not here, so I feel obligated to do just a couple Sylvia things. Okay. Just, I want you to know Sylvia is involved with a opioid program, and she's speaking tonight, so she's not here. We won't let that happen again. She needs to be here. But anyway, just so we have the Sylvia report, there were 100 reportable diseases investigated from September 19th, from September 1st to the 30th of September. We've had rabies programs. We have 30 domestic or wild bites. Let's see here.
What, do you have a breakdown?
I do. You would like to know.
It's enjoyable, I like hearing
Here we go.
about
Animals involved were 12 dogs, 12 cats, 3 raccoons, 1 skunk, and 1 ram, and 1 ram. Ram. Yeah, you know, the ram with the horn, like the goats. And
Are they indigenous to our community?
I will actually
Find that out.
find that out and report that back.
Thank you, appreciate it.
6 animals were sent for testing. 1 cat was positive in Hampton. And that, I know everybody hears this over and over, but do not pick up stray animals. I mean, it's, people tend to say, oh, I love this poor little cat, and he bites them, and the cat runs away. And when I was working in the health department, the hospital called in the middle of the night, and about treatments and stuff, and there was a protocol to go through, and say, how did they get bit? And they said, well, they saw this cat, and they were just sitting there, and they picked it up, bit him, and it ran off. And it's, cats are the majority of the times we have problems with. So, let's see, flu vaccine, please make sure everybody looks at the calendar. The county has a county-wide program for flu. And I think it's becoming, have you gotten word, now we have the senior, Greg, we have the senior, is the senior vaccine, the senior citizen vaccine available
The
now?
high dose.
The high dose?
The high dose is available.
Okay, because I know that was restricted, so please go out and get them. There's a men's health screening Wednesday, October 30th, at Wheatsworth Road. And there's a blood pressure outreach, and then there's been some pools of mosquito-borne diseases. With that, I will come over here. The Powassan virus study, the CDC, CDC Control and Prevention, New Jersey Department of Health, and Sussex County Division of Health. They did the survey, virus study in the county. They visited 473 households, enrolled 270 participants who completed comprehensive survey and provided blood samples for the CDC to determine any prior exposures. As we have mosquito bites, and they'll provide a informational report for that. I did attend the Elks last Friday. The Elks, Sussex County Elks had an open house for veteran services. It was very good, well attended. I was also at a Chamber of Commerce meeting on the 17th at Friendly's for the Newton Chamber. Nice group. Hopefully that chamber will continue to grow. As far as talking about health, and drug addiction, and opioids, I think we all should remember and think, we probably all know somebody that's been affected either by alcoholism or a drug problem at some point in our life. If you haven't, I hope you don't ever run into that. But I think everybody that I know somewhere has had someone with a problem, and hopefully they are successful with treatment. I have mixed feelings about some of the common stuff that Lola was making, because I watch it. I get concerned because, you know, my phone, it's listening, and my computer, if I go on it and I look something up, I get all sorts of ads now. And you have Alexa, Siri, everybody's listening. And I'm very familiar with the movie you're talking about, predicting what you may do. I have mixed feelings because I think if I were having a problem, I'd want somebody to try to intervene and say, you know, you've been to these doctors, what seems to be the problem, and maybe talk to me. I'm hopeful that a program like this will be successful, and will not lead on to something that we would be unhappy with. So I think time, I guess we'll have to just wait and see how that all develops. But, okay. And do we have anything from council? Do you have anything for us?
We have the consent agenda.
Okay, I was going to do the council, but let's do our approval of the consent agenda.
The Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of the said resolutions is in and will further the public interest. If any freeholder would like to remove an item to be considered separately, please do so now.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, resolutions A to G?
Make a motion to approve consent agenda resolutions A through G.
Second?
Roll call?
Freeholder Fantasia?
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Yardley?
Yes. Resolutions, resolution providing temporary closure of CR 613 Sparta Township, the Sparta Township Education Foundation Annual Turkey Trot 5K on November 28, 2019. Motion to adopt resolution.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Freeholder Fantasia?
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Yardley?
Awards of contracts and order change orders bids.
The Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex has reviewed the award of contract change orders bids consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of the said resolutions is in and will further the public interest.
Okay, the motion to adopt resolutions A and B.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Freeholder Fantasia?
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Yardley?
Yes. Financial resolution, payment of bills, October 23rd, 2019. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Freeholder Fantasia?
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Yardley?
Yes. Motion to pay bill list B.
So moved.
I did that to pay all the bills. Do we have to do it?
We don't.
There was a motion to pay bills because Sylvia and George are not here.
I would just go with B,
Yeah, okay.
since you have the motion.
Bill list,
finished.
bill list B, okay.
So moved.
Second, okay. Roll call.
Freeholder Fantasia?
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Yardley?
Personnel resolution authorizing personnel agenda of October 23rd, 2019. Motion to adopt the personnel agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Freeholder Fantasia?
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Yardley?
Yes. Administrative report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Director. I appreciate the kind words to the staff for the work that's been done on the operating budget to date. There's a tremendous amount of time, which obviously shows from your comments, that goes into that. Rest assured that this is just the beginning, as we will be working now over the next several weeks, paring down the requests to be able to fit into the financial plan that the county has adopted, both by way of the fund balance policies and the debt management policies, and we will be back to you with a completed draft. We typically estimate the beginning to middle of December. We'll continue to keep you apprised as we work through that. In addition to that, now that the operating budget hearings have concluded, we're working to schedule time that the departments can come in to make their capital budget presentations, and we've targeted the beginning of November. Once we're able to firm up some dates, we will be in touch with the capital projects group to coordinate those presentations as well. And that concludes my report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
County Council?
Yes, I just want to mention one thing that was omitted from my report at the last meeting, as we were working on something else, but and that is that the Oprah litigation instituted against us by Mr. Harvey Rosa has been dismissed by the assignment Judge Minkowitz. So the ruling was in our favor. I want to specifically thank our outside counsel in that case, Larry Cohen and Jamie Mastaguri, for the great job they did. That was a case I wasn't able to handle directly because I was handling the request with the clerk. So we did need to have somebody represent us. They did a great job. Case is over. That's all I have.
Unfinished business, none. New
Excuse me,
business.
Director. Your Honor, can I just state for the record that the minutes that were on the agenda this evening were being carried to the next meeting for, they were inadvertently distributed a little bit later for the board's consideration. They were prepared, but we got them out a little bit later than normal. It was an oversight on my department's part, so they will be on the next meeting.
Thank you. New business? Okay, public session from the floor.
Everyone is asked to keep their comments to 3 minutes. Please state your name and print your name and municipality on the sign-in sheet.
A motion to open the floor to public comment.
You better get up.
Need a motion?
It's about you.
So moved.
Second?
Right.
All in favor? Yeah.
My understanding is
Open it
that
to
it was
the-
planned.
To the floor. Anyone that wishes to address us?
My understanding is that was planned.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Christy Levin, Hubbardston. Did you start yet? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
The last time I was here, I commented on a video shared at the meeting by Nick Louisi that was a preview of the drug symposiums that would be offered in the county. When I was offering my comments, I was speaking more candidly and personally regarding the video. Given we were told the purpose of the drug symposiums are to help people in our community better access services, because we all agree that that's a problem, I expressed confusion as to why a video of individuals overdosing in a gas station and falling out of their vehicles in a humiliating state would be something that would be found helpful. From a personal level, of anyone that has loved someone that has overdosed, seeing that video, of course, is disturbing, but on an even larger scope, for anyone that knows nothing about addiction that is attending one of the symposiums, this video is a misrepresentation of people with addiction in our county, and I'll tell you why. For one of the majority of overdoses in Sussex County that occur sadly happen in a family's residence or someone else's residence, not in a gas station, falling out of vehicles. Secondly, to highlight a person when they're at their most vulnerable state and broadcast it on video is tone deaf at best and exploitive at worst. If this was an in-service for police officers, clearly that would be different. But this is a symposium to help people with addiction feel safe to turn to their community for help. If I'm a person that chose to go to the symposium to get information about services, and I was brought back from Narcan, what is my takeaway seeing that video? Seeing those people in such a humiliated state highlighted, toward what end? So people in the audience can feel better about themselves, that it's not them.
1 minute.
I can tell you that I would not feel that my community is trying to help me or understand me. Additionally, within the last 2 weeks, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, that we've had at least 4 overdoses in our county. This video further enhances the stigma against people struggling with addiction, does not properly represent our county, is likely to re-traumatize those who are trying to help, and further deters people from using life-saving measures to save residents in our county. So again, I ask, why is this video being played? Freeholder Bertilla, at the last Freeholder meeting, assured the video would not be played at the symposiums, and yet the video is being shown. So if you don't trust my feedback as a clinician, there are people in recovery here today whose perspectives are far more important and more powerful than my own. Some of them may not want to speak, some of them may. Regardless, there are others here that share my sentiments on this matter. And now I'd like to step aside and let them say what they think the board needs to hear. Thank you.
Hi. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Before you speak, Can you write your name and municipality for the record? Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Layla. I'm 10 years old and a 5th grader at Montague Elementary School. I'm here today to advocate for the people who struggle with addiction, the ones who lost to addiction, and the families who are affected by addiction. When my mom told me about the video that was shown, it made me sad. In 2015, I lost a very special person due to this disease, my Aunt Melissa. She was the best and I still miss her so much. We need to send the right message to people on the subject to help end the stigma. Showing people being revived in a gas station parking lot is cruel and unfair. Share success stories of those who were lucky enough to be safe. Give people hope. Addiction creates enough shame. When you revive someone, you are saving someone's loved one. My entire generation is growing up in broken homes and with heavy hearts. We need to protect them and support them, and in order to do what we have to do to change the face of addiction. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board?
There it is back then. Jessica Bertola, Artisan. So I just wanna, I've already pretty much told you my story, so I wanna just double back on what Layla said. As an addict, as someone who went through programs, I can tell you that no rehab that I've ever been to, no IOP, no program ever shows videos of people overdosing. A lot of people in programs, they've lost people, they've watched their loved ones die, and to even see it is a reliving of it. I can't really explain it to you, it's something you have to go through. The guilt and the shame is real, the pain is real. If you want addicts like myself to come to symposiums and you want them to hear what you're saying and you want them to feel safe enough to get help, then the way to do that is to get addicts who are in recovery to these symposiums, to speak to these people, to show them that there's hope, because death is all that they have left. You have to reinvent hope for them. You have to make them see that they don't have to die, that they're not lost, that they can make it. So I'm gonna have to stand with everybody else that I think it's really bad judgment. I think it's really, I don't even know what the word is. It's not compassionate, it's not empathetic, it's tone deaf, it's just not the right way to go about it. We already feel judged, we already feel like we have no use in the world, and it's really hard to get that back. I just hope you'll consider that there's gotta be a better way. There's gotta be a better way to make people feel comfortable enough to ask for help. And I really, really do not agree with showing videos of people dying and being brought back or any of that, because we already know that's happening. And if the thought may be that it's going to scare anybody, like the scared straight type of thing, it's already proven that that doesn't work. You have to be able to be afraid for that to work, and once you get to that point in an addiction, I don't believe that there's anything that's going to scare you out of it. It's something that you need to be loved out of. So that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna put a 2 here.
Number 2.
Neil Ken, Freeman Township. I don't know if this can work. I didn't catch the whole video. I came in, it was on, and you know, somebody was triggered, somebody wasn't triggered. It seems reasonably graphic. And you can have a whole debate about that, whether you think it's a good video or a bad video. I'm not even going to address that issue. What I will address is what I think I can speak about, and I think I'm very knowledgeable about, and I've done research about a couple of things. This dog has a name, and he's named after a Marine who lost his moral barrel to post-traumatic stress and moral injuries that were created, and he took his life. I think that anybody who's in emergency services EMT, EMS, fire, medical, police, military, whatever, when they experience something, they're gonna have post-traumatic stress. It's the person who says, I don't have it, that frightens me, because that's either the sociopath or the psychopath that has no feelings. But you can live a very full and functional life with post-traumatic stress, and you may be better with the weapon than the people who think you shouldn't have the weapon. I can explain that, I don't have enough time for that. As far as recovery is concerned, I think I can speak pretty freely about that. I wear my recovery like I wear this thing, it's loose fitting. I have 39 years without a drink or a drug, okay? I do that one day at a time. And the young lady shared a personal story, which is heart-moving, but you're not less than anybody, and don't let anybody let you believe that you're less than anybody. You're not. You're just a person who dealt with something. The idea that the doctor did speak about, that people are starting to look at it as a disease, lack of ease, dis-ease, lack of ease. And there's a million reasons. And the young girl spoke about coming from broken homes and certain things. Yeah, again, I'm all for the health programs. I'm all for, I personally use AA. These things work. I still go to meetings. Somebody says, why do you go to meetings if you're sober 39 years? I said, so I don't try to strangle you. Because it's not the alcohol and it's not the drug. It's the isms that are underneath that. And that the alcohol and the drugs are just the symptoms. What's more frightening to me than that video is that we do a lot of trade, and I'm getting close, we do a lot of trade with China, and they pump a lot of fentanyl into this country. I know they go to Boys to the Hood, but it's not Lester and Neon who will come in a rowboat with 20 tons of heroin. There are big issues when we get to these drugs, and I could go into conspiracy theories. But if the methadone clinic is going to help somebody find, but they have to be supervised and have to do that. But the predictability, that's a frightening thing. I understand. I was a teacher. And when I was teaching, I could tell the kid, you're not going to make it to 21. And when he came back from the Easter spring break and he didn't come back because they cut him in half, everybody thought I was a thing. Yes, we can identify behaviors and see certain things, but using that prediction to intervene in somebody's life is scary. Let's have the programs, let's have that, and maybe that video will help somebody, I don't know, but it's there. The movies frighten me more than the videos, believe me, and probably 30 of them. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board?
John Connolly, Newton. I come before the freeholders this evening with 3 points of gratitude. The first point of gratitude would be for the fine work that the administration did and Freeholder Fantasia for having a conversation about really important things, and that's operational budgets. Very, very difficult prospect, incredibly complex, 25 pounds. And I just really appreciate the effort that goes into that. It requires a lot of communication. That would be my first point of gratitude. My second point of gratitude would be about 2 weeks ago, we held essentially a seminar, a symposium on Lyme disease. I expected it to be pretty good and had a good staff and had a good feeling and so forth. It was extraordinary. It was absolutely exceptional. If you folks did not make it, we're hoping to duplicate that, if possible, this upcoming spring. It was really absolutely fantastic. The professionals who were there their knowledge was deep. There were people in the audience whose knowledge was even deeper. It was really an extraordinary thing. And I come with gratitude because I know that you folks have had some small role in that. You're supportive of this. The college is engaged in a research study. We are going to do a tick drag. This is going to be conducted by the scientists at the college, by students who are budding scientists at the college, and it's going to be a serious thing, and we're hoping it's going to help Sussex County. My third point of gratitude would be today, I did have the privilege of presenting a few introductory welcoming remarks at the drug court. Today was drug court graduation, certificate of commencement for 25 individuals who had successfully completed the drug court program. We've heard a great deal this evening about the importance of that. And I had the privilege of lauding the efforts of these folks who have made it to that particular point and what they have been through. Folks who have survived that program or survived what Jessica has done or what you have done, sir. They come with extraordinary levels of wisdom. They have experienced the bottom and they have made it out. And what they have delivered to the community in terms of character modeling in terms of overcoming adversity, in terms of understanding what is required. Where does our real power come from? Where does our real strength come from? And what I encouraged the graduates was to share that, And what we saw this evening was that sharing. So I just have great gratitude on that. I wasn't going to remark on that earlier, but I was moved to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, reminders to everyone to visit the website for all meeting dates and locations. We need a motion to go back to executive session, is that correct? Okay.
And okay, you will not need to return. You can adjourn from executive session.
As the board will not be taking any formal action at the conclusion of its second executive session.
So we need a motion to go back into executive session.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call? Is there a roll call? or-
No, voice vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are in executive session. Thank you all. Thank you for all for coming.
Thank you.